आज सगळीकडे वातावरण तशें आसा की बायलो म्हणटा आमी वोटिंग करपा येतले लोक मागपा येतले बीजेपीचे तांकां आमी विचारतले की तुमी आमकां 450 रुपयांनी गॅस दिता म्हणून सांगिल्लो वयलो डिफरन्स तुमी येता आसतना घेवन येया. पेट्रोल घालपी स्कूटरवाल्यांनी ज्या वेळार बीजेपीक मतां दिल्ली निवडून येवपाक ते म्हणटा आमी तांकां विचारतले की तुमी सांगिल्लें पेट्रोल कितलें वाडलें जाल्यार आमी 60 रुपयांनी सप्लाय करतलो. आनी म्हणून हे सरकार जे आपलें आश्वासन पाळपाक फेल जालां. आज कोणाचे कोणाक पडून वचना. बारीक मनशाचे आतां पयशे ना. बारीक मनीस रडटा, टॅक्सीवाले, रिक्षावाले, मोटरसायकल पायलट हे सगळे त्रासांत पडिल्ले आसा. आनी सरकार फक्त फेस्त करता. सरकार कडेन सद्दां पयशे ना. पूण पयशे नासतना सुद्दां फेस्तां चालू आहा. मिटराक टॅक्सीवाल्यांक मिटर बसय म्हणटा 12,000 रुपयाचो. मिटर भायर मेळटा 4,000 रुपया. ते म्हणटा 12,000चो मिटर बसया. मागीर तुमकां पयशे पडटले. म्हणजे अशा तरेचें वातावरण आज सगळे कडेन चालू आहा. रस्त्यार कोण आसा? टिचर्स रस्त्यार आहा. आमी स्वातंत्र्याची 60 वर्सां सेलिब्रेट करतात. स्वातंत्र्य सैनिकांचे भुरगे रस्त्यार एज्युकेशन करतात. जॉब ना. टीचर्स आझाद मैदानाचेर बसतात. टॅक्सीवाले, मोटरसायकल पायलट हे सगळे रस्त्यार. म्हणजे सगळे जाणांक आज एज्युकेशन करपा खातीर रस्त्यार हाडपाचें काम ह्या सरकारान केलां. एक रस्तो बोलो ना. पणजेचे रस्ते हांव नको कितले बरे आहा. पूण आमी एक दीस काँग्रेसीन एक स्पॉट द पॉटहोल कॉम्पिटिशन केलें आनी म्हाका घेवन गेले इनॉग्रेट करपाक. पयली सेल्फी हांवें काडली ती नेवगी नगर म्हणटा पणजे येता. नेवगी नगराचेर हांवें सारको वांकडो जावन तो खड्डो घेवन सेल्फी काडली. ती सेल्फी भयंकर पॉप्युलर जाली. सगळे कडेन ती सेल्फी पावली. चीफ मिनिस्टरान ताची दखल घेवची पडली. ताचे पयलीं हांव काणकोण गेलो. काणकोण आमचे मिटिंगेक एक बरो भुरगो उबो रावलो 40 वर्सांचो. तो कोलो आपली बायल काम करता पणजे हेंचे तरी डिपार्टमेंटान. तिका डेली ती बरी ना. तिका बसीन हाडपा मेळना. बसीन येवपा मेळना. तिका आपूण स्कूटरीन घेवन वता सकाळ फुडें आनी सांजचो ऑफिस सुट्टकीर परतो स्कूटरीन घेवन येता. पूण म्हणटा वता आसतना आनी येता आसतना 15 मिनटांनी आपल्या स्कूटरीचेर फाटल्यान हात लावन पळोवचो पडटा आसा काय ना तें पळोवचें पडटा. अशी आमच्या गोंयच्या रस्त्याची परिस्थिती. तो म्हणटा तुमी 40 आमदार कितें करता? हांव म्हणलें आवा म्हाका तूं मडगांवच्या रस्त्याचेर मडगांवचे रस्ते बरे अजून आमी सांबाळ्ळे. आमी कशें करून करता. बाकीच्या रस्त्याचेर चीफ मिनिस्टरान ताची दखल घेतली आनी चीफ मिनिस्टरान स्टेटमेंट केलो 1 नोव्हेंबर पर्यंत सगळे खड्डे पळयतलो म्हणून. हांव तुका कितले खड्डे पळयले. सेगीत 2-3 दीस यूथ काँग्रेस मेडमाती पेटयता खड्ड्या भितर. वचून खड्डे पळयले दिसना. ताणें आनी एक स्टेटमेंट केलो की दिगंबर कामत चीफ मिनिस्टर आशिल्लो त्या वेळाचेर तिजोरी भरून व्हांवताली म्हणून. हांव मुख्यमंत्री 5 वर्सां आशिल्लो. 5 वर्सां जर सरकाराची तिजोरी भरून पावता बारीक मनशाच्या हातांत पयशे पावतात जाल्यार गेल्ली 10 वर्सां सरकाराची तिजोरी कित्याक भरना हाचे एक क्वेश्चन मार्क आहा. सरकाराची परिस्थिती अशी कित्याक लागून जाल्या. कोविडाचे तुमी दुयेंस घेयात. कोविडाच्या वेळार मिसमॅनेजमेंट कितलो जालो तो तुमी सगळ्यांनी पळयला. बरे लोक आमकां सोडून गेले. 3,300च्या वयर डेथ जाले. 100च्या वयर लोक ऑक्सिजन ना म्हणून तडफडून मेले. म्हजो स्वताचो ओएसडी बेर्लेकार म्हणून तो म्हजे बरोबर काम करतालो चीफ मिनिस्टर आसतना सुद्दां तो बाबडो 18 दीस जीएमसी रावन ताका ऑक्सिजन ना म्हणून ताका मरचें पडलें. म्हणजे अशा परिस्थितीत कोविडाचो मिसमॅनेजमेंट ह्या सरकारान केलो. आतां तुमचे पंचे आसा खास घरांनी विचारात की ह्या सरकाराक मॉरल आसा काय म्हणून सत्तेर रावता. हांव डेली मडगांवच्यान पणजे येता. जुवारी ब्रिजा कडेन जे रस्ते पळय जाल्यात हे आज पर्यंत तुका ते रस्ते पळयले जाल्यार आनी तुका रावपा नाका. कारण तुमी आंग सगळे मोटरीन सुद्दां गेले जाल्यार आंग दुखून वचता. अशी कारण सांगून सुद्दां सरकार आयकना. अशा परिस्थितीत लोक एका कन्क्लुजनाचेर येतात. लोक एक कन्क्लुजन काडपाक लागल्या की दिस रुलिंग डिस्पेन्सेशन मस्ट गो. दिस शूड नॉट कम बॅक अगेन असो एक सगळ्यांचे मत आसा. ते कशें आमचे फावरात करप हे तुमच्या कार्यकर्त्याच्या हातांत आसा. कार्यकर्त्यांनी जर सगळ्यांनी मनार घेत कारण इलेक्शन अल्टिमेटली जिंकतात हे कार्यकर्ते. आम्ही जरी लीडर असले आमदार असले जोपर्यंत म्हजो मडगांवचो कार्यकर्तो 4 जावन काम करना तोपर्यंत हांव जिखपाक शकना. आणि म्हणून पणजेचे कार्यकर्ते जेन्ना 4 जातले तेन्ना पणजेचो सीट काँग्रेस जिखपाक शकतली. हांव तुमचे कडेन विनंती करता की ह्या खेपे सारखे जर काम करत जाल्यार म्हाका खात्री आसा की पणजे परत एकदा काँग्रेसचो झेंडो लावपाक आमी सक्सेसफूल ठरतले. तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी तें काम करचें अशें तुमचे कडेन मागता आनी देव बरें करूं.
PCC President Mr. Girish Chobankar. Chris goes.
Dignitaries here on the days beginning with Sir P. Chidambaram, my former colleagues here, ex-mayor Suren Furtado, Ruth Furtado, and also Uday Madgaikar and Regina Almeida, with whom I had an opportunity to work in Panjim, and all block workers, committee members, sympathizers, and ladies and gentlemen. हांव आतां आयकतालो काय तुमचे प्रश्न जेन्ना तुमकां मांडपाक सवलत दिली तेन्ना चडशे उचांबळाय जी आसा ती ऑर्गनायझेशनाचेर आसा. म्हणजे असो मनीस जाय, अशें जावपाक जाय, तशें जावपाक जाय, ते ताणें नोट केला आसतलें आनी तुमकां ते योग्य ते उतर दितले. म्हाका एकच सांगपाचें आहा की ह्या सिटी बद्दल, ह्या सिटी कडेन आख्खे गोंयचें लक्ष आसा. The whole attention of the people of Goa is naturally on Panjim because it is the capital. All the decision making, most of it takes place here. So many activities, so many agitations take place just across here, Azad Maidan. The grievances of the people, the trade unions, you see every day someone or the other is in deep trouble just because the government of Goa has ignored the people of Goa. And now the time has come, maybe in another 75 or 80 days, the course of events will determine what will happen in the next 5 years. So these are the crucial days before all of us, whereas Regina has said, setting aside every difference, we will have to march forward. I know you have a lot of issues. You all are also in the corporation. Many of you are still there. Your block president also is a part of the corporation. But I look at it more holistically from Goa point of view, that we are at a place where a betrayal has taken place. The trust that was reposed in a person or even the party has been betrayed, where one became two and two became three, and how many more nobody knows. So if you have to stop it, you are in the right position and the right time and the right place to stop it once and for all. Sorry, Kari Shetty also is there, who was, I saw him just now, was part of the work. Shirodkar Asa. Minina Asa. There are so many of them, sorry. But the point that I am just trying to convey in a shortest time that is available now, because we are already late, is that let us stop this so-called multiplication from the same families. It doesn't serve anybody's purpose. It only serves their own purposes. And not only in Panjim, across Goa, I think the message has to go to the party also, that this has to stop. It is people-centric, welfare-oriented development that has to take place. And only then, the confidence in the people will grow to vote for the Congress. Let us send a message right here, from here, to across Goa, to the whole of Goa, every voter of Goa, the youth of Goa, the women of Goa, that they have to be behind the Congress this time. I can see the wave already, because the wave normally would not be seen about Congress in North Goa. But that is palpable this particular elections. Let us capitalize on that. And as for the sentiments expressed, I am sure they will give you the right people to lead. Thank you very much.
PCC President Mr. Girish Chodankar.
Panjim block कॉंग्रेसच्या या बसकेक हजर आशिल्ले आमचे सिनियर ऑब्झर्वर बाकी चिदंबरम जी, मातशे आशिल्ले आमचे सगळे लिडर्स हजर आशिल्ले आमचे मेंबर्स. पणजे ब्लॉक काँग्रेस कमिटी आमकां खूब तेंप जालो. एक्चुअली स्ट्रगल करतात आमी एवरी टाइम. म्हाका याद जाता आमी 2017 आमचो कॅन्डिडेट नाशिल्लो इलेक्शनाक. तेजे नंतर आमी 2 बाय इलेक्शन पणजेन लढली. एक 2017 हांव लढलो हांगा बाय इलेक्शन आनी तेजे नंतर अनेक बाय इलेक्शन जाले आनी त्या बाय इलेक्शनाक आमचो जो कॅन्डिडेट जालो जिखलो तो आमच्या सगळ्या आमदारांक घेवन परत फुटलो. आनी त्या टायमार आमचे जे आमी मेंबर्स खूब आयिल्ले आमचे केल्ले कमिटीचे मेंबर्स खूब जाण त्या बरोबर कमिटी बरोबर गेले तेजे नंतर थोडे तेजे नंतर गेले. आनी त्या सिच्युएशनांतल्यान तेजे नंतर आमी पणजे ब्लॉक रिवायव करपाचो आमी खूब प्रयत्न केलो. आनी आयज हांगा तशें पळोवपाक गेले जाल्यार पणजे ब्लॉकाचे खूब बांगडी ह्या मिटिंगेक आमकां आयज पळोवपाक मेळटा. कारण पणजे मतदारसंघाक मनोहर पर्रीकरान जवळ जवळ 22 वर्सां हांगा हो मतदारसंघ डॉमिनेट केलो आनी आमकां असो प्रसंग नाशिल्लो आमकां हांगा कमिटीचेर घालपाक ऑफिसर मेळनाशिल्ली. मुक्ता खबर आसतलें, मुक्ता कंटिन्युअसली हितूंक आसा आनी हालीं खुबशे आनीकूय आशिल्ले तेय थोडे जाले 2-3 जाण पळय आशिल्ले मोव जाले तेजे नंतर. पयलीं म्हणजे तुमचे सगळ्यांक हांव देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. तुमी परत सुद्दां ह्या परिस्थितींतल्यान परत एकदां सगळे एक जाल्यार काँग्रेस ब्लॉक रिवायव करपाक. आनी म्हाका खबर आसा आमच्या म्युनिसिपल इलेक्शनाक आमी हांव सुद्दां येवन हांगा हावस टू हावस आमी भोंवन ट्राय केले हें करपाक. पूण आमी आमची तशी तयारी नाशिल्ली सारकी. पूण वी आर थँकफूल ते रावले जेंडर घेवन. तुमचे थोडी सजेशन आशिल्ले की ब्लॉक प्रेसिडेंटाक हें करता आसतना कन्सल्ट केलें ना. म्हाजे म्हायती प्रमाणे सगळ्यांक विचारलेलें गेलें ब्लॉक प्रेसिडेंट काडटा आसतना. करेक्ट?
Yes, I had 5 meetings in Panjim Congress House along with the Panjim people. Whenever we used to call them, hardly 5-6 people, only 7 people used to come for the meeting. Sorry, sir, without your permission, I'm talking. So what I'm going to say is regarding the meetings.
We did not get any message.
Okay, suppose I can.
No, this is careful of that.
Yes, sir.
I
We
got
are
it.
also meeting to form the block. We are meeting.
We don't want it.
आता बरोबर आहे मॅडम.
This total line, we will be very specific about it.
One minute. Who is not getting the messages of the meeting? Just we'll resolve this. You are not getting the messages? One. दोन जाले. Okay? आणि कोणाक मेळना जाल्यार आमी परत इन्क्लूड करया. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
कितें तरी सर्वर प्रॉब्लम जाला, so because of that ते मेसेजी पावना.
No. Forming of the Panjim, electing the Panjim block president, and he get like provisional vote for the election. Then our conference called now. Provisional vote for the election.
बस. तुका मेसेज येना, ऑफिसांतल्यान मेसेज येना. ओके. सो आमी ते चेक करता. Same.
Yes, sir. Even I was not getting
You are
message.
not.
We only
Okay.
got the message.
So we are now including your name.
Even the old ex-members were not sending a number after this. They started the number there.
Message to the block group.
He is getting all the messages I show you right now.
Okay.
He has even read them.
Okay.
That is now.
That is now. Therefore, appointing us asking before appointing the Panjim block president, we were not taken into
Listen. Please sit down. This is not the way to make your point. If you want to make your point, you are being given even ample opportunity to make the point. But not to get agitated.
Sir, listen to people.
Please listen to me. I have listened to you 5 times so far. You want to make a point, make a point. But in an orderly, disciplined manner. You're making a good point. Your good point is becoming a bad point because of the manner in which you're making it. You must make a good point and you must make it in the proper manner. You've raised your hand, you've been allowed to speak, you've spoken, and that is it. And if you want to make another point, raise your hand, you will be allowed to speak. But you can't stand up in an agitated manner. All right. You want to make a point? Now stand up and make a point.
So what I'm going to say is that we are not taken into control, we are taking informing the
You have
block.
made the point already 3 times. I have noted it.
But we have not taken the certificate reply from that.
You have made the point. I've understood it. If you've got any other point to make, you make it. All right. Now kindly wait. Oh.
SMS WhatsApp message.
Ask him to use tomorrow the WhatsApp.
Alimache, you can just, as you are showing how the message goes.
WhatsApp is.
Yeah.
Can I clarify?
Yes.
The message is existing now after he becoming the president, not before forming the
He can
president.
only send it only after he cannot send it before he becomes president.
So before the block was formed, nothing was
Correct, but that
intimated.
he cannot send that message.
No,
Somebody else.
somebody else.
Somebody
Yes,
else.
yes.
We'll find out who that somebody else is. We can only ask the block president, what did you do after you became
Yes.
block president?
So now
If
the
your
block was
complaint is, I've understood what you are saying, madam. These are not very complicated matters to understand. If you are now saying before the block president was formed, you did not get message, we will find out in the district congress committee who was responsible for calling that meeting.
Exactly.
We are now discussing the meetings after he became block president. I have asked him to produce tomorrow the WhatsApp group list, WhatsApp list. Let us see whose names are there, whose names are not there. Okay? All right. Yes.
One
Yes.
point I would like to make is, apart from WhatsApp messages, all senior members normally get a computer generated message too. But there have been instances where messages come sometimes and sometimes they do not come.
So let us find out how he is sending the messages by email or SMS or WhatsApp. We'll find out. Before I find out, I can't come to any conclusion. So I've asked him, what is the manner in which you are sending messages? He said WhatsApp. Now you are saying computer generated messages. Let us find out if such messages have been sent and in what mode. Okay?
So I'm very thankful to all of you. This is how actually the organizations are built when we discuss openly the shortcomings. And that is why our senior observer, Chidambaramji, is going around meeting all the blogs, interacting with them, so that we get the suggestions or any shortcomings, any complaints, and we try to fix it. Now, since 2 members have raised it, it's a very good issue that you have raised. And I expect that in future also, whenever the block meetings are called, we should all join those meetings and start interacting, discussing how to strengthen this block further. Because everyone wants now their block to be part of the next government. Because one of us know that 2022 Congress is forming the government. And we want again the Panjim to be part of this government. So all of you join together. If we start working collectively, I think it's not a difficult task. Because we have seen all the elections. We have certain number of votes. So to win, I think we have to work to get another 3,000 to 4,000 votes in Panjim. And with all the stalwarts sitting here on the first row, it's not difficult. If you all of us join together. And I am sure, ज्या तरेन आमचे ब्लॉकाच्या त्या इतले मेंबर आहेत बसून हांगा मिटिंगे डिस्कस करतात उलयतात इट्स अ गुड साइन सो लेट्स पुट अवर एनर्जी टू ट्राय टू गेट
ब्लॉकामध्ये पाहून जाय रोखडेच
यस
डोर
एक्झॅक्टली
टू डोर आम्ही आमचो प्रोग्राम घेऊन वचून लोकांकडे आम्ही इंटरव्यू जाऊन
ओके ते
आम्ही कोणत्या हांगासर काय नाशिल्ले
त्याच काय हांवें सांगलां न्ही सुरवातेकूच सांगलां स्टार्ट करता काय
आम्ही बीजेपीचोच आम्ही दुसऱ्या लोकांक भायर काढून जाय.
And we have also seen recently that many of you also participate in our PCC programs, which are generally held in Panjim and Azad Maidan. We are very thankful. So let's restart reorganizing the process with full confidence, feeling that we are going to win Panjim seat for all of
We
you.
need to be quite vibrant.
Right.
Panjim is quite low.
So thank you. Secondly, आता वेगळे इश्यूज आम्ही पणजी घेऊन फायट करताले उदकाचो प्रॉब्लेम अजूनही सॉल्व जालो ना तुगेली आमची ती स्मार्ट सिटीचे इश्यूचे सुरेश बाबूय खूप फावटी इश्यू काढून फायट करीत आशिल्ले. म्हाका दिसता हे इश्यू घेवन आमी फायट केले जाल्यार पणजे परत कॅप्चर करपाक आमकां डिफिकल्ट ना. आमचो जो सपोर्ट आसा तो पूर्ण सपोर्ट तुमचे बरोबर आसतलो. लोकांक जाय की हांगा ज्यो प्रॉमिसीस दिल्ल्यो, कारण आमी सामके हांव आशिल्लो, सुरेश बाबूय आशिल्लो, उदय आशिल्लो, मॅनिफेस्टो रिलीज केल्लो आनी ते मॅनिफेस्टोक आमी सांगलेलें घरान जॉब दितले म्हणून. त्या आमदारांचो आमदार इलेक्ट जाला आनी गव्हर्मेंटाक गेलो नंतर डेव्हलपमेंटाक म्हाका खबर ना कितले जॉब्स पावयले तेणे. 100 दिसां भितर कॅझिनो काडटा म्हणलेलो, करेक्ट न्ही? आज खबर ना ते कॅझिनोचे गॅस्टूच तेगेल्या हॉटेलार रावता म्हणून आयकूं येता. ट्राफिकाचो प्रॉब्लम वाडत आसा. एक्झॅक्टली. सो ऑल दीस हे इश्यूज आमी जर रेज केले, पार्किंगाचो इश्यू तातूंत ह्याच्यान ट्रॅव्हल करता आसा हॉरिबल जाल्लो आसा. सो हे सगळे इश्यूज आमी रेज करूया, घेवया आनी आमी कलेक्टिवली सगळे एक जावन मुखार या. ते कॉमेंट्स करूया म्हणजे लोकांनी हाऊस टू हाऊस विजीट आनी मातशी स्ट्रेस करूया हाऊस टू हाऊस इश्यू. ओके. सो परत एकदा सगळ्यांक तुमचे देव बरें करूं म्हणटा चड उलयना, कारण आमी थोडो टायम आमच्या सिनियर लिडराक दिवया. चिदानंद आमची तो सगळे आतां कलंगूट मिटींग करून येयल्लो आसा आनी तो ब्लॉकांनी वयता आनी बरें दिसता तो जेन्ना ब्लॉकां वयता एज व्हडलो सिनियर लिडर तेन्ना एक वेगळी एनर्जी आमी क्रिएट जाता. थँक्यू सो मच.
Good evening to all of you. I'm sorry we were late because we completely misjudged the time it will take to go from Panjim to Kalangut, and from Kalangut to Panjim. The traffic was terrible. In a sense, the traffic is good because it brings more tourists, but the traffic is terrible if you want to keep your appointment. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Obviously, this is not a very satisfactory meeting. This was intended to be a block Congress committee meeting, and all block Congress workers should have been told to attend this meeting. Perhaps the venue was wrong. I think it's wrong to hold a block Congress committee meeting in the Chamber of Commerce building. It should have been held in a more proletarian building. It can't be held in the Chamber of Commerce. That itself will put off a number of people. Be that as it may, I promise that within the next 15 to 20 days, we will call another Panjim Block Congress Committee meeting, and everybody will be invited. And I want Congress workers, ordinary Congress workers, old-timers, new-timers, youngsters, elderly people, middle-aged people, them to attend the meeting. But since we have come to this meeting, I'm grateful and I thank you. Now, we can't change the past. We can't rewrite the past. All I can say is, on behalf of the Congress Party, I apologize for what happened in 2017 and in 2018 and in 2019. The Congress workers stood loyal by the party. It is the winning candidate who was disloyal to the party. The Congress candidate continued to remain honest to his convictions. It is the elected leader who became a dishonest person. The Congress worker continues to repose faith in the Congress party. It is the elected leader who betrayed the Congress party and went to greener pastures. So all I can say is two things. One, I apologize for what happened in 2017, 18 and 19. And I promise that we will do our very, very best to see that such a sad, despicable chapter is never repeated in Congress, especially in the 2020 election. Our friend here suggested that we take an affidavit, but he also said you're a lawyer and you know the legal implications. Because I know the legal implications, the affidavit is of no use. But be that as it may, we will find other ways in which we can ensure that an elected leader does not betray the party. The more important message that I wish to convey are two. The first message is, elections are not conducted by leaders. Elections ought not to be conducted by leaders. Elections must be a participative affair in which you must have a say, you must have a role in every decision relating to elections. I said this on the second day I reached Goa as an observer, and I say this again, and I will say it again and again and again. At every block meeting I've said this. This is a participative exercise in which you will decide every matter related to elections, from printing posters to choosing a candidate. Nothing will be imposed from the top. And when you choose the candidate, when I come to you and ask for suggestions for candidates, you may give one name, you may give two names, you may give three names. But please remember, your suggestions must be based, one, on loyalty. That is number one consideration. Number two, integrity. Number three, acceptability to the worker. And number four, winnability among the electorate. A person may be acceptable to the worker, but if the person does not appeal to the larger electorate, for example, the lady out there who came here as a voter, it's of no use to the party. Therefore, loyalty, integrity, acceptability to the worker, and winnability among the larger electorate. Remember, 60% of the voters do not belong to any party. And out of that, 30% of the electorate makes up its mind only on the date of election. On the day of election. On the morning of the election, they make up their mind. Some make up their mind when they enter the booth. Therefore, we need to appeal to the larger electorate, so the candidate you recommend must satisfy all these criteria. But once the AICC chooses the candidate from among your suggestions, all of you must stand solidly behind that candidate.
Yes,
You cannot say, I suggested A, she suggested B, you have selected B, so go to her, I will not work. That won't work. That's not acceptable. Once we select a candidate from among your suggestions, all of you must then stand behind that candidate. That is a promise which I expect from you. That is about elections. About a larger issue of Goa. Goa needs change. For 10 years, we have seen a government. And this government has left behind, or will leave behind, a legacy of broken promises, a legacy of betraying the people. I'm learning about Goa every day, and what I've learned so far equips me to give a long lecture on the ills of Goa. Your environment has been degraded, your development path has been completely changed, your education system is in tatters, your entire bureaucracy has been allowed to become corrupt. Unemployment is the biggest problem of Goa. 40,000 to 50,000 young people are migrating out of Goa. These are the talented, educated people. They are migrating out of Goa. Women are afraid of their safety and security. And there is a sense of despair, the sense of apprehension that Goa's unique culture will be destroyed by this political rhetoric of Hindutva and one flag, one nation, one culture, one language, one food habit, one religion. Ultimately, it will end up with one party and one leader. We are stoutly opposed to this homogenization of India. I'm proud of the Tamil culture. You're proud of the Goan culture. You should be. You have the greenest forests, you have the bluest seas, you have the whitest sand, and you welcome tourists from all over the world. No other state in India welcomes tourists from all over the world. That is your unique culture. Your song, your dance, your food, your music are unique. And you must fight to protect them. What the Portuguese did was colonialism. What the current regime is doing is also another kind of cultural colonialism. Therefore, we must fight to preserve our rights. Our freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom of association, to be free. To be free is to shed fear. Today, everybody lives in fear today. From a journalist to a civil servant, they live in fear. We must shed fear. We must be able to walk free. We must be proudly say we belong to a free state and a free country. And we can preserve our culture and choose the path of development which is consistent with our culture and aspirations. I can't possibly suggest that a steel plant be established in Goa. Steel plant is indeed progress, but establishing a steel plant in Goa is not progress. It will be regression. They wanted to establish an SEZ in Goa. An SEZ near Mumbai or Chennai or Kolkata is progress. But to establish an SEZ in Goa would not be progress. So therefore our government scrapped the SEZ. Therefore, what is the development that we want? What is the kind of education that we want? What is the path of development that we want? Each country has a different path of development. New Zealand is one, Australia is another. They are both neighbors, separated only by the sea. Singapore is one, Malaysia is another. They are only separated, they are not even separated. They are joined by a bridge. Sri Lanka and India must have different paths of development. Similarly, Goa can't imitate Maharashtra, nor can Goa imitate Gujarat or Karnataka. Goa must chalk out its own path of development. And we have a vision of how that path can be. We have a vision how your environment can be protected. We have a vision how jobs can be created in Goa. We have a vision how your talent can be retained in Goa. And all this vision will be revealed when our manifesto is made public. And when our government is formed, we will ensure there's a mechanism which ensures that the manifesto is implemented by the government. A manifesto is not simply a piece of paper. It is not a parchment to be read and thrown away. It has to be implemented. And we will put in place a mechanism by which the government is under vigil that it will implement the manifesto on a time-bound basis. So I'll have an opportunity to speak to you again and again. But we will come back to you again and again to consult. We will devise ways of consulting. But you must now become confident that we can win the election. You must hold your head high. You must walk with pride. You must say, mistakes have taken place, we have learned from our mistakes, but this time we are determined to bring the Congress back, determined to bring the Congress government back and put Goa back on the path of sustainable development which is consistent with the culture and aspirations of the Goans. That's the goal that we are setting for ourselves. I'm sorry if some of you have been inconvenienced, but these mistakes will be corrected. I'm glad you brought out the mistakes today. Although young man said it very passionately, I respect your passion. I was also passionate at your age. You should be passionate, but at the same time, we must find ways in which we can move forward. We will correct the mistakes. We will call another meeting of the Block Congress Committee in 15 or 20 days, and I will try to attend that meeting. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Dev Barikuru. Thank you.
speak about party loyalty, integrity, acceptability to party workers, overall popularity with voters, you missed out on the criminal aspect of.
What is integrity?
Okay, and the other thing is, like when you spoke about loyalty, we get to know from newspaper reports and also through our political context that there is imminent entry of MLAs and ministers of the BJP.
You should ask the newspaper editor. I don't edit a newspaper.
So, no, but when we talk about loyalty, can you assure us that these people won't be given entry?
I can only assure that you will be asked to recommend candidates who are loyal to the party. If you fail to recommend a candidate not loyal to the party, that is your fault, not mine.
That means you will choose
I hope you understand what I've said.
Yes. So
If you
what
don't recommend a candidate who will be loyal to the party, it's your fault, not mine.
Yes, but the candidate chosen should be from the pool of candidates recommended.
You will know who to recommend, I suppose. If you don't know who to recommend, don't recommend. Somebody else will recommend. The lady will recommend.
No, what I meant to say is the candidate should be chosen from the pool of candidates recommended by the party workers.
What did I say? You didn't listen to what I said. Everybody understood what I said. You didn't listen to what I said. That's the problem. I even gave an example of A recommending, B recommending. I even gave you that example. Even after that example, if you don't know what I said, what can I do? I can only say I'm inadequate at expressing myself.
I'm very happy to see all of you express your thoughts and your hearts out. If I may conclude, sir, the Congress Party looks forward to your time and guidance in the endeavor of winning Panjim, Tiswadi and Goa. Friends, I think we can do this for our beautiful state. On behalf of the Congress Party, I'd like to thank all of you for coming here and making this event a success. Thank you and good night.